And I'll do this, Pablo. I'll do this. I'll skip this. And I'm going to.
Yep. So we are live, Brother John?
Yes.
Yes, so we are live.
Hold
Live.
on. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Something happened here. And I. Hold on. Hold on. Yes. Okay, Pablo. Sorry for the command thing. My mouse gets stuck. Sorry. I don't know.
Let's
Sometimes,
get started.
yeah, mouse gets stuck. You're not doing what you're not obeying. You're not being obedient right now.
Mm,
No, it's not being obedient. My whole thing is frozen. Oh my
wow.
God. Yeah, you go frozen there now. Uh, my system frozen. Oh my God. Ah, you can see you cannot see me, right? Are you seeing me? No, eh?
No.
You're seeing me, but I can. Yeah, I'm frozen from out of the box. I get thrown out of the box here. Only seeing you. I see the movement. I can't see me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, wow, wow, wow. Wow. This is crazy. And and sometimes I try to do it nice and sweet, right? And it just happened to not give me what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
I just had to wait for you could keep talking. I think you're talking. I think you'll be okay. I just want to double check outside and see.
Murphy just keep misbehaving, right?
Yeah, just giving
Mm,
me the run around now because you're good, but
mm,
I'm not seeing me.
okay.
Yeah.
But we're
We'll,
actually live out there.
we're live. We're live.
Okay, okay. Well, my apologies to our viewers, our listeners, for the time being, because Brother John is having of a technical glitch there. Oh, Brother John, I'm hearing something coming back at me here. Yeah, yeah, Brother John. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we've been having some technical issues. Last night we had Dr. Pierre. Yeah, Dr. Justin Pierre, that's the man who did this research on human trafficking, yes, and the sexual trade, yeah, in the region and the drug trade and so on. Yeah, he's the man who actually correctly predicted the outcome of the 2022 Grenada general elections. And while the well-known pollster from the other island, he was saying, well, you know, NDC cannot win this election. It's another NNP election, another NNP victory again, and so on and so forth. Dr. Justin Pierce said, well, NDC is going to win the election, and this is the margin of victory that is going to be for the NDC, and so on. And it turned out to be correct. And he would swear by his data because he is using data. They do some serious research. They have all of the computer stuff set up and so on. I mean, that is not my kind of thing. I'm not a Gen Z or a Gen X or so. I come from the old school. So I mean, I know how to use the thing a little bit and so, but in terms of knowing all them things, so the AI and all of that. So he was able to correctly to correctly predict the election and all of that, you know. So we had him last night talking about these things and some other research that he's doing throughout the region, done some work in Guyana recently, worked as far back as Africa, as one of the biggest databases relating to research on black people in the region in Canada. He has some kind of arrangement with the Canadian government now that's looking at Black businesses and providing financing for small businesses and so on. Maybe we might get Brother John to chime in and so on a little later on. But in any event, this is the 7th episode of The Heart of the Matter. Remember, we started this on the 3rd of February, and this is our 7th episode. Last week, we had Mr. Steve Maxime, a specialist on the environment, and I can tell you, I came away from there well edified. I felt like a student just learning. He was the professor, sharing information. It's quite a bit that we learned. We had Mr. Michael Baptiste the week before, and those of you who joined us, you remember what he shared here regarding the essence of Sir Eric Matthew Geary, and that road to independence, because we just recently celebrated our 50th anniversary of independence. Okay, and we know what a joyous time it was for all of us, really. It was a very proud, right? Pride enhancing, experience and period. And many of the activities and so on, people came out in the thousands. And it is the first time that I heard Grenadians stand proudly and sing with one voice. Hail Grenada, land of ours, we pledge ourselves to thee. I mean, usually in these events, you would hear the police band would be playing, and you would hear a few scattered voices here and there. But in this instance, our people stood up, proudly singing out, belching out, as some would say, our national anthem. And it was a very proud moment. We have heard about, the very disheartening things that have happened recently. And maybe I'll touch a bit on that quickly. Because you know what has happened? Well, okay. My name is Wilfred Paul. I am happy. Yes. And those of you who are there already on the live, please like it. Please share it and encourage others to come join us. Because I can tell you, on this platform, on this GEM FM Genesis Magazine platform, as run by Brother John Clavis, he continues to demonstrate his commitment to uplifting the mindset of our people through this media platform. Yeah. And you and your viewers and listeners, I greatly appreciate you taking the time off to join us. So please like it and share it. Let people have the opportunity to be exposed to the kind of content that we have, and they can be exposed to this constructive discourse that is provided here. Yeah, because our content is always intended to edify and enlighten and to address various matters of significance. That is why our guests, they come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Okay, so I had somebody who was an environmentalist and agricultural expert last week. I had Mr. Michael Baptiste before. When I started, I had Mr. Dave Ned and Ms. Mitchell speaking about constitutional issues and so on. And we'll be touching a bit on that here today too. Also, yeah. And as I've said before, unlike the guests that I bring, I am not an expert on anything, right? It's just that I am one of those very opinionated Grenadians. Yeah. And based on what I see taking place in the media environment, social media, and so, everybody posting a thing, being alive, and so on, and a few minutes there or there, and people sharing something. And I see certain things being shared, boy, 1 million views and what? And what it is, boy, some little trivia, some little laughing matter, some little, you know. So I feel, well, being somebody, the kind of person that I am, with my kind of perspective of national issues, development, the consciousness of the people, us as people of African origin, that I am entitled to add my voice and to share my perspective on matters of consequence and significance to the discourse, yeah, that relate to the governance and the development agenda and to whatever else. Because as I say, I'm a very opinionated person. I have an opinion about everything. Yeah, I have an opinion about everything. I don't have a problem sharing what my opinion is. And my opinion is based on research more time, is based on authentic researched information that is out there. But the vast majority of our people don't spend time dwelling or delving into these things. We spend more time on trivia. I mean, listen, if you listen to the programming on our radio station, you know that. It's more trivia we deal with. Everything is just about a hype and so on and so forth. So when you're constantly functioning in that space, ultimately, and you will find me making that point over and over again, because it's the same when you go on the radio, you hear 10, 15, 20 songs about rum. You hear 10, 15, 20 songs about woman wine, this, that, and the other, and so. Well, some of them song and them, well, you hear 20, 10, 15, 20 songs within 2, 3 minutes because the whole song don't play. They hear, they do so, and they start, and you hear the little piece of voice in the beginning, and the time they get into the chorus, boom, they cut that, and they give a hype, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's the generation thing. But the thing about it is, if you really want to build a serious and conscious society, you can't be feeding them that and then expect a society that is serious, that have values and so on and so forth. Yeah. So once you have a society functioning in the way that we function in here now, right? The prevalence of these things are going to continue to grow. The prevalence of what happened there with the kidnapping, the escape from the prison, and you see man constantly escaping police custody and thing, man being brought up court and man is running away from the police. And this didn't happen when I was growing up. When I was growing up, didn't I? Young folks and young people and thinking about, boy, whoa, I so fed up with life. I feel I go end it right here. 12-year-old and 14-year-old and thing committing suicide. And you had that when I was growing up. That didn't happen. Okay? These things didn't happen when I was growing up. We didn't think about that. Now you hear young people, boy, I'm bored. It is so boring. We were never bored. It was never boring. Yes. And I mean, the thing about it is, say, we are more modernized. The Gen Z and the Gen X and the millennials and so on, they got all of the different stuff, the trimmings, the gadget, the this, the that, the other. They got no values. The life doesn't mean anything to them. Taking somebody else's life doesn't mean anything. It's like crushing out a cockroach. We kill each other. We're friends and so on. We have a little dispute and so on. But, but you take a knife to him, you take whatever to him, and that's the end. He's dead, and you go sit down in prison for how many years or for the rest of your life. That is the kind of society. This is what is becoming prevalent. And yes, we do not have to hyperventilate and so on an incident, because these things at the moment, they few and far apart. So, so when something happens, you don't just go on like, oh, it's something that is happening every day. And this is not what we want to nurture. This is not what we want to cultivate. And once what you nurture and what you cultivate, that's what is going to grow. Yeah? Because it's planted already. Okay? It's planted already. But if it doesn't get the nurturing, if it doesn't get the nutrition, if it doesn't get the fertilizer, he ain't gonna grow and he ain't gonna bear no fruit. And that is not the kind of fruit that we want to bear. So this is where we are right now. When we just celebrated March 13th on Wednesday, and we know that's a significant date in our country's history. It's significant in more than one way, not just the fact that there was an overthrow on that date, yeah, something that had not happened in the English-speaking Caribbean before, but it ushered in a period as short as it was, because it ended in October 1983, as we all know, but it ushered in a period that we had never before experienced and have not experienced since then. Okay? Now, that period is going to be an ongoing subject of discussion. It's going to be an ongoing subject of debates. It is an issue that brings to the fore conflicting narratives. A lot of the information surrounding it is shrouded. It's kind of, hard to visualize. And a lot of it is hidden. Quite a bit of it is hidden. In the recent times, you find that, there's more and more being ventilated out in the public domain and so on. But it is a period that will always be under scrutiny, always be under analysis. And as a consequence of, as I said, what was ushered in and what happened during that dispensation, it is important that we look at, seeing that we just into 50, and we're looking to grow past 50. And as the song said, we're looking to continue going up, up, up. Then we have to look at that period of growth, that period that provided that opportunity, right? That period that really provided a level of growth in our economy as had never been experienced before. Yes. And it had a level of focus on those things that had been in the pipeline. Those things that had been in the pipeline as regards our development agenda, development initiatives. We take for granted our international airport. If we didn't have an international airport, our gateway to the rest of the world would have still been significantly restricted. Okay? And it is us having an international airport that makes it possible for a lot of things to happen. We didn't have an international airport. The thousands of people who came here for the 50th anniversary celebrations would not have been able to come. The thousands of people who come here every year during the August festival, for Carnival and so on, would not have been able to come. The fact that we were able to ship out thousands of pounds of tuna fish overseas, soursop and all of that, we would not have been able to be doing these things at this point in time if we didn't have an international airport. And the story that was told at the event when we celebrated our 50th anniversary, yeah, the narrative that was displayed with the drones and so on, that took us from Eric Gehry, 1951, up to this point in time. and what had happened under the leadership of all of those persons who served as prime minister from that time to now demonstrated how significant it is for leaders to do the right thing. Because although there are perfection does not exist in the human domain. So in spite of the imperfections of the various leaders over the years, and with Sir Eric being the first of the lot, he had had certain vision, and as a consequence had put certain things in place that although he did not have the will, he did not move expeditiously and go at it. When the revolution took place, because of the nature of things at the time and the state of international politics and the relationships that we had, the solidarity relationships that we had with certain countries, we were able to get the equipment, the financing, and so on in order to rush. One time, we start building the airport, we start doing agro-processing, we start doing, a variety of things that either had just been started, was in its nucleus state, or was just a concept, right? Was sitting there in a document waiting to be brought to the fore. And the revolution was able to do that. And because, as I said, because of the kind of support, the kind of assistance, we got equipment from Cuba, we got equipment from the USSR, we got lots of scholarships from different countries that we never had any relationship with before. Our young people, because I mean, you have to recall that those times coming out of secondary school, island scholarship was one and two island scholarships that were being given, so you didn't have no tens of students, going away to study and so on. No, we had hundreds of students going away it was the first time that was happening. Okay, that was the first time something like that ever happened in the country. So the revolution was able to do that. We never had the kind of the kind of training programs that they had in terms of teaching people to read and write. And so a lot of people who never knew how to read a book, yeah, were able to learn to read and so on during that kind of period. Granted that you have a lot of people now finishing secondary school, passing exams and so, and can't read properly. I'm telling you, my colleague who teaching in TAMCC tell me so that he has students coming to him, they pass exam, they have to have X amount of passes to be able to go there. Yeah. And they go in there. And then a lot of them, the comprehension level is lacking and they have reading deficiencies. And then you hear people say, but people don't like to read. And let me tell you something. If you don't read, you cannot grow intellectually. Okay? If you don't read, you cannot grow intellectually. Brother John, are you there with me? Brother John,
I'm here.
at this point in time, before I go into my next issue, I
Uh,
want you to play that song from Wizard.
okay.
Yeah? Can you play that song for me, please?
Let me find it on here. And
Yeah?
hold on. Let me find it here. I had it
Yeah?
lined up, but she's move
Yeah?
away from it. Let me go
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
into it.
It line that up and let we
Yeah.
get that. As we're talking about the revolution and so on and so forth. Although the song is not specific to the revolution, it showed you the kind of focus that we had at that point in time. Okay?
Yes.
So, um, yes, so we have that.
All right, here it is.
Hey, there it is. Yeah, come with it. Yeah? John, having some static. Is that the recording that's doing that? Okay. Can hear the music again. Yeah. Yes, Brother John. That's so. They don't make them like that anymore, right? You don't hear our artists, our calypsonians addressing such matters in depth.
Pablo, go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead, talk.
Right?
I'll be right
Yeah.
back momentarily.
Yeah. Some statics. There's some statics coming through there. Brother John is getting some serious statics there. We are getting some serious statics there, Brother John. Oh, Brother John. Oh no. We're getting a feedback here, Brother John. I don't know what is being heard out there. Oh. I don't know what is the statics are not really hmm. Whoa, this is not good. This is not good. I'm wondering if that is what is being heard out there. There. Oh, Brother John, we can't continue. Can't continue with that because there's nothing that can be heard. Mm-mm. Oh, man. Brother John, wow. Not good. This is not good. Mm. Brother John, is only statics that's coming through on the Zoom and on the live. Only statics alone. You can't hear me. You can't hear nothing. Oh, no. What do I do? Because, you know, on the live, Brother John, all we getting is statics, Brother John. All we getting is statics. Check it out. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we
Hey, what's happening?
yeah, I don't know. Since that's all we've been getting, you know. We haven't been yeah, that's all we've been getting.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Hello?
Yeah, Brother John.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that's all the song that has been coming
Oh
through.
my God.
I even went on the live and there was no voice. All that you getting was this
That
stuff.
okay. It should be okay now.
Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah.
So it's okay
I
now, but
okay. Sorry, but
yeah,
somebody called me from my insurance. This I was going to attend to.
me mind tell me how to take a call, but
Yeah.
that is what the situation.
Okay. Well,
But
you have to take it and edit it out. Yeah.
yeah, we we do apologize for that, but we you know that song, Brother John, that's by Wizard, you know, about the United Nations and the fact that you know is just more conference and conference and the real issues are not being addressed. And I mean that song
Pablo, I'll
was
be
sung,
right back with you. Okay.
yeah, that song was sung back in 1980. And we see that presently Israel is out there doing the same thing. 1980. You talking about 44 years ago. And that situation has not been rectified. And right now, Israel is just running through the Palestinians. They've killed what? 31,000 and counting Palestinian, including Hamas people, who is the ones they say that they actually, after they want to get rid of Hamas once and for all. But if you don't get to the heart of the matter, the issues will never be addressed. The issues will never be resolved. You need to get to the heart of the matter. Because as long as we don't get to the heart of the matter, then things are just going to continue. And people are going to be retaliating because when you have a situation as that which exists in Palestine, where, I mean, look at us here. We have a port, which I was speaking about a while ago. You have airports, we have ports, you know. You can leave and go to Carriacou. We have airport, we have port in Carriacou. The people of Palestine do not have an airport. The people of Palestine do not have a port. Israel controls everything that goes in and everything that comes out. And these people, as a consequence of that, dominance of their existence, all of the resources, they control the water, they control the electricity. They can switch it on and off at will. And that was the circumstances. These were the circumstances under which the Black people in South Africa lived for many years. The same way that Israel been imposed on the people of Palestine, and they've taken the lands arbitrarily, you know, and just settle in whichever area they want. It's the same way that these Black South Africans were experiencing with those who they call the Boers. Yeah, white people come from Europe and come there and see that they have an entitlement to do as they will, because this world is run on the precepts and the concepts of white supremacy. The people of that complexion, the people of that hue, the people that come from Europe, they run the show and they behave as though, well, not they behave as though, they claim entitlement to be the dominant people of the world. They claim entitlement to do as they will, to be in control, to be in charge. And the people of darker hue, the darker people of the world do not have rights, especially we of African origin. Black people are the only people who have been classified by these people as 3/5 of a human being. And go research it. We're not making these things up. And they still see us in that light. And it is as a consequence of that you have a situation where, as what is taking place in Haiti, that you have a situation where they feel that they're entitled. So all of the wealth is under your feet. In Africa, in the African countries, you hear about all of the resources that these countries have. But what happens? It's controlled by white people. They make laws. They make laws that say that you cannot deny international conglomerates or investors. Yes, you cannot deny them the rights to come and explore in your country. And they could take you to some kind of court and get judgment against you. Go check it out. They make laws. And if, like countries like ours that have been colonies of Britain, and they say, well, okay, because of the relationship that we've had, we are going to create a situation for you where we are going to, whatever it is that you produce, okay, you're producing bananas, so we are going to take all your bananas and we are going to pay you premium prices and so on. They would say, no, that can't happen. That is against the rules of trade. So they put the World Trade Organization in place, and the World Trade Organization come on stream. And the rules of the game is that We all have to function on an open market. We all have to, it's open competition. Okay, so small countries like ours have to function by the same rules and the same regulations, and we have to be able to compete with those big countries who can produce in big quantities. Yeah. And so the United States of America, who doesn't produce bananas, they took a matter to the World Court, not to the World Court, to the World Trade Organization, saying that we were being given preferential treatment by Britain, and that was against the rules of the game. And that put paid to our banana industry. I mean, yes, we had different challenges and so on, but essentially, that was what finally put paid to our banana industry. Why? Because you had those banana producers from the US, people from the US, who had millions of acres of land in South and Central America. Sure, you've heard about Chiquita and such entities. And they were selling bananas out there. I mean, the quantity of bananas that they're producing, we are nowhere close to it. I mean, we are dropping an ocean. But yet, they did that to stifle our banana product. Yeah, they did. And that's the kind of thing that you find that we are always up against. That's what we are up against in terms of that relationship, in terms of the world that we function in. Yeah, that's the kind of world that we function in. And they say, well, okay, you cannot subsidize your farmers. You heard those of you who were here with me last week. Mr. Maxime was speaking about that. But they are giving subsidies to the farmers in different forms and so. Yeah. But in any event, they say we cannot give subsidies to our farmers. And to do so is unfair trade practice. But I want to share something with you about unfair trade practice here. Yeah. Let me share something with you about unfair trade practice. Given what is happening in Haiti presently, yeah, given what is happening in yeah, now hear that. Now, Bill Clinton's trade policies destroyed Haitian rice farming. Now Haiti faces post-hurricane farming. Okay, how did that happen? What are they talking about? Let's hear what they're talking about. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Now, and what I'm sharing with you here, okay, part of it is an interview Bill Clinton was having. Now, former Bill Clinton publicly apologized for forcing Haiti to drop tariffs because given the amount of products that they're able to sell, we had to put tariffs on them so that the product will have to sell at a certain price. And we, because of our high production cost, and we're experiencing these things here too with our chicken and so, right? We had to put tariffs on it in order for it to be able to compete. Okay, so Bill Clinton apologized for forcing Haiti to drop tariffs on imported subsidized US rice during his time in office. It wiped out rice farming, seriously damaging Haiti's ability to be self-sufficient, to be able to feed themselves. So Haiti was producing rice in sufficient quantities to be able to sell, to be able to look after themselves. But the US say, listen, you have to open up your market. and you have to import rice from us. Yeah? Now, they say it may have been good for some farmers. No, Clinton is saying it may have been good for some of my farmers in Arkansas, but it has not worked. It was a mistake. I have to live every day with the consequences of the lost capacity to produce a rice crop in Haiti to feed those people because of what I did. But he don't do that already, right? You think he really, really mean it? You really think so? But it's just that he saw them people there. They've been that way from slavery. Remember, these people, the Martini, used to be to come out, man, woman, and child, to come out and see black people get flogged and black people get hanged, who want a hand, who want a foot as a souvenir, and so on. And that's the kind of people we're dealing with, you know. That is in our history. Okay, so you think he was really, really sorry? You know? Well, who am I to question that? That's the president of the former president of the United States of America, you know? 6 years after Clinton's apology, which was in 2010, Haiti faced a new food crisis in the wake of Hurricane Matthew. Yeah? So, that is the kind of thing that you find happen with us, with the way how these people treat with, yeah? The way how these people treat with us, the way how they use the dominance. And I say that to make the point, to relate to the song that Wizard was speaking about. Because the United Nations is made up of independent countries throughout the world, right? And members of the United Nations. And we heard the different world leaders, they would meet and, you know, they give the speeches and resolutions are passed and so on. But they have what they call the Security Council with the United States and Britain and Russia, China, and so on. They can veto things. Yeah. So if the almost 200 countries who make up the United Nations, if we sit down and we discuss things and we come to a conclusion on matters and we say, this is what we are proposing, this is our resolution, and this is what we want to happen going forward. Any one of these countries could say, no way, I veto that. And that's the end of that. Now, that kind of system was set up since back in this after the end of the Second World War. And it is so up to today, in spite of the fact that since then, the majority of Black countries, which were not independent during that time, they were colonies. But the people fought in the war to free Europe, right? The people fought in the war against Nazi Germany. They fought to bring benefits to the Jewish people. And you know, they tell you, never forget the Jewish Holocaust. But we are not supposed to speak about slavery. The Jews have been receiving reparations, but we are not supposed to speak about that. You don't believe me? The Jews are receiving reparations up to today. Now, the people who lived through that period, majority of them, it's just one of them that's still around. So who getting this reparation money? It's not the children and the grandchildren. But on the other hand, they're telling we that it's not we that been on the slave plantation, so we don't entitled to nothing. You know? So this woman, she was having this conversation with this guy, and I just want to share a short excerpt from it. Yeah, that's Amy Goodman. Yeah. On this channel that you call Democracy Now! Amy Goodman, She's still there. After the earthquake, and still many people live in makeshift tents up to today. Up to today. Not just back in 2016, up to today. Because the earthquake from 2010, but being there in Port-au-Prince and seeing ceremonies with President Bill Clinton, who said there are two critical issues in his life at that time. One was the marriage of his daughter, the imminent marriage of Chelsea, and the other is the reconstruction of Haiti. He was a major force in Haiti. What happened? Now, we conscience are beating. So when you had this disaster, he run down there, you know, playing like, well, he looking after the interests of the people and he want to see this good happen for the people because he know because the role that he played. So the Haitian Ninaj Raoul says, so first of all, we have to go back. When we look at Bill Clinton and his relationship in Haiti when he was president, one of the worst things he had done that's still hurting Haiti now, especially in the wake of these disasters that keep happening to Haiti, is this policy where he took the excess rice from Arkansas, where he's from, and dumped it in Haiti and used our tax dollars to subsidize it. Up until this past recent year, there's legislation that keep getting knocked off to reverse this policy, although he's apologized for it. So although he apologized for it, there's still legislation in place that was continuing with the imposition on the Haitian people. Understand? Do you understand what is happening now? I know a lot of us, we have these sentiments, oh, Haiti and them, they believe in, you know, Obia, whatever, this is why. No, these are the things that have contributed to the state of things in Haiti. Yeah? Now, I'm going to share with you another piece that speaks to, that is headed, The Continued Silent Invasion of Haiti. And that was done by one Kobe Joseph in March 19, 2023. It says, as we demand an end to the US war machine, peace, and an end to the imperialism everywhere, we have to take the time to talk about the current political situation in Haiti. And we see what's been happening there now. Now, that is 23, that was just last year, right? Now we see that the prime minister has since resigned, the president had been killed, and all that's been going on. It has been reported that in coordination with Washington, Canada has begun a significant military deployment in Haiti, as admitted by the Caribbean ambassador to Haiti, Sebastien Carrier. Carrier continued by saying, we took over, we delivered armor. There have been 2 deliveries since October. There will be a 3rd delivery the next few days and another one in February. This is the CP-140 surveillance operation intelligence sharing. There is a ship, there are ships arriving. It's still military deployment in a significant way. Devastating weapons, mass surveillance technology, and Canadian soldiers have been on the ground in Haiti for weeks to further repress the nation. But this isn't new for the first free Black nation in the Western Hemisphere. Haiti has been under attack by imperialists since its revolution in 1804. The revolution had started in 1791, I think. The US slave-owning class, threatened by Haiti's successful revolution, chose to isolate Haiti economically and politically, refusing to accept a free Black-led republic. While France agreed to recognize Haitian independence in 1825, They did so in exchange for the large sum of money, a large sum of 150 million francs for the loss of property. What was the property? The formerly enslaved Black people of Haiti. That was the property that they lost. Faced with isolation, Haiti felt obligated to pay this debt of 21 billion over 122 years, paying France until 1893, and then the United States until 1947, keeping Haiti in a constant state of debt. So you understand? When all the money what you're making, you had to keep paying these people debt for loss of property, because you have to remember that the United States of America had significant holdings in Haiti. So when the revolution took place, they too would have lost property. So you had to pay, they had to be paying reparations to France and to the United States. Imperialist forces of France, United States, and Germany interfered with Haitian affairs, leading to destabilization in the country. The assassination of Haiti's president in 1915 and the US military invasion and occupation of Haiti from 1915 to 1947, as detailed in Eugene Poyer's analysis, Haiti between a rock and a revolution. Foreign military interventions and occupations have been efforts to destroy the popular revolutionary spirit of the Haitian people, who have faced 2 coups, 3 dictators, 2 foreign military occupations, multiple death squad, 4 straight dodgy elections since 2006, 1 presidential assassination, and a range of exploitative trade deals. So this is what has had Haiti in that situation from since 1804 until now. We're talking about 220 years now. Because white supremacists couldn't deal with the fact that these Black people were bold enough to take their freedom from them, to claim what is theirs, what is rightfully theirs. So they had to pay. They used the military might to impose on them that you have to pay us reparations. But you see, we, the children of slaves in the region here, you see they're paying us any reparations? Eh? You see they're paying anything at all? Now exiled former President Jean-Bertrand Aristide attempted to recover the billions stolen by France in 2003 and was removed from office through a coup d'etat. In fact, it was US Navy SEALs team that removed Aristide from his home in Port-au-Prince suburb of Tabari on February 29, 2004. Immediately thereafter, the United States, Canada, and France landed troops in Haiti, militarily occupying the country for the following 3 months. These same occupying countries met with the Inter-American Development Bank and the World Bank to have them pledge monetary aid to help strengthen Haiti's police state, to maintain peace and stability, and to respond effectively to civil unrest while respecting human civil rights, which resulted in a loan of $410 million to the financially victimized nation. The same predatory approach to aid was applied towards Haiti after the 2010 earthquake, when $13 billion in funds raised for Haiti never made it to the Haitian people. Meanwhile, Haiti has over an 80% unemployment rate, while 60% of the population live on less than $2 per day, with a minimum wage of $7.50 per day. It is the struggle in Haiti. No. Is the struggle in Haiti really about gangs? Peaceful worker protests in Haiti are often met with violence, though varying degrees made by the Moor regime. All protests have been characterized as terrorism, and incentive structures for police officers have been created to increase their violence against civil society. And now, the already violent the already violent national police have even more violent racist support with this new intervention. Moore was unable to control the protests and so dissolved the parliament, the judiciary, and ruled by decree in dictatorial fashion until he was assassinated in 2021. But where do these so-called gangs come from? The rise of gang violence has followed the rise of mass popular movement in Haiti. Haitian elites have deployed paramilitary forces to try to repress and intimidate this huge popular movement against poverty, wages, in order to protect their private property. This has continued with state repression and paramilitary forces. Anyone is seen as a gang member when it comes to putting profit over people. After Aristide's removal in 2004, in June of that year, the United States handed the occupation of Haiti to the low-paid multinational army called the UN Mission to Stabilize Haiti, or MINUSTAH. Since the early 2000s, MINUSTAH is how the US has outsourced its control of Haiti. Now, the guy that you've been seeing, I forget how they call it. Yeah? He is one that was working with US Secret Service. He was in prison in the US and they sent him back. And he is one that's being used by them. Yeah, he was released from prison and so on. And he's back there. And that is the man now who is there running the show, doing all that you see that's been happening there. The peacekeeping mission inadvertently introduced cholera into Haiti's most extensive water source in October 2010, after sewage leaked from a UN camp housing cholera-infected peacekeepers. Since 2010, confirmed cholera infections have claimed around 10,000 lives and infected over 820,000 people in the country, leading to 10,000 deaths. In the UN, left of peacekeepers involved in the Haitian boy rape, journalist Amy Bracken reported. But it's here, in early 2012, that local youths reported seeing UN police in a vehicle sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy who is mentally disabled. As the title states, no UN peacekeepers ever faced accountability. And that is just one reported case of the violence that these invasions and occupations have caused the Haitian people. Destabilizing what was once the colonial gem of the French Empire is a critical strategy in all of this. Various UN occupations have literally uprooted Haitian elected democracy and led to installments of puppet regimes, while state institutions were dissolved at a whim. as we see in the case of Haiti's current Prime Minister, Ariel Henry. And the Haitian people don't want any UN intervention at all, no matter what is reported. Since October of last year, hundreds of thousands of Haitians have been taken to the street across the country, demanding the registration of the US-backed de facto President Ariel Henry and his administration. So, this is why we are presently seeing all of what is taking place in Haiti there. This thing is happening by chance. This thing is not happening by chance. It is a deliberate effort. It is a deliberate effort to undermine the country that was brave enough to take their freedom. Don't wait for it to be granted to them, to take their freedom. Yeah? To take the freedom from these people. Yeah? And because they have done so, they have been made to pay. Yeah? Because they've done so, they have been made to pay. They had to pay reparations. They have had interventions and invasions and so on over the years to ensure that Haiti becomes a failed state. You don't challenge, you don't threaten. Yeah? You wait until I give it to you. You don't take what is yours by right. Because you're not a full human being. Yeah? You're not a full human being, so how dare you? You are three-fifths of a human being. Yeah? This is what the situation is. And this is why you find this situation existing in human being. This is why you find existing here. Yeah? So Haiti is not in that state because I know Obia and because of whatever else you may think. Yeah? No, it's not. It is because these people have set out deliberately. They have set out deliberately to ensure that they undermine Haiti, that Haiti does not succeed. Let me just get something that I need to find here. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, so this is the situation with Haiti, so we have to wait and see what is going to be, what's the next thing that's going to be happening. We see that in our case, uh, we had the escape of the prisoners. Yeah, we had the escape of the prisoners. Now, I mention to you earlier on? I don't know if I did. I am here doing this session. As you know, I usually have a guest and so on. And many of you would have seen that I would have advertised that I'm expecting the president of the XPRA grouping, yeah, because we just had March 13th celebrations and they had an event in Sautens. And I forget to tell you that yes, they were supposed to be here. But just earlier on today, I had a call from the president who apologized to me that they would not be able to be present because of a procedural issue. You see, they were supposed to get the affirmation from the executive, and that had not happened. So although they had arranged to come, they had not gotten the affirmation from the executive. The matter had not gone to them. So they had to postpone it. So they will be here at a later date, okay, after they are due to meet sometime in the coming week. And after they have met, we are going to reschedule for them to come. So at short notice, I couldn't just put off the program for today. So at short notice, I had to prepare myself, an alternative to come here, and to be able to share something with you, something um, that brings to the fore a matter that is current. You know, I chose to speak to certain matters that's current here. And one of the matters that's current is the one where we had the runaway, the running away of 3 prisoners, and they ended up kidnapping those people, 2 people, and these 2 Americans uh, that they killed. We see now what is happening now is that the families of those Americans that were killed, they are now looking to bring a lawsuit. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. They are looking to bring a lawsuit against the government of Grenada. If you recall, when there was that incident with the killing of this gentleman, he was originally from Grenada, lived in Canada, was married to a Canadian. So essentially, he was a Canadian citizen. And he was killed. He was detained by the police. He died. The police was held responsible and so on. And the family of, the wife and so on would have taken the government to court. They did sue the government, and I think the government had to pay a tidy sum of money in compensation to the family of the guy that was killed by the police. Yeah. So presently, right now, we see this situation, and that was all over the international media. It was all over the international media. And so this is the situation now. There is going to be a lawsuit, most likely against our government. Okay? And according to the editorial of this newspaper, one of the weeklies, yeah, they don't do prints anymore. They have an electronic version that goes out. So many of you would not have seen it. I don't know if it was mentioned in the news, in the radio news. I expect it should have, radio and television. But in any event, this article says it is headed "The Lawsuit in the Making." And that's the editorial. Yes, that's the editorial of the New Today. As widely expected in legal circles, the family members of the two Americans killed by the three escaped prisoners from the South St. George police station on February 18 are laying the foundation to file a massive lawsuit against the island. The family members have retained the legal services of former Attorney General Jimmy Bristol, which is a clear indication of the intent of the Americans to seek massive compensation for the loss of their loved ones. This 48 hours after madness, no, this 48 hours of madness by these criminals from Paradise in St. Andrew will cost the Treasury millions of dollars. It is a case that Grenada cannot hope to defend successfully because too much information is already out in the public domain about the circumstances behind the manner in which the two persons lost their lives. Tuesday's press conference by the Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, and Acting Commissioner of Police, Don Mackenzie, who would have provided enough material for defense lawyers to prepare the lawsuit. It is doubtful that this battle will take place in the High Court of Grenada. Oh no, jump away from the page. Oh no, come on, you jump away from the page. I scroll away from the page. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no, come on. I scrolled away from the page. Bear with me, please. Bear with me, please. Bear with me, please. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I scrolled away from the page. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go, 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 here we go. And we are getting there, and we are getting there. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Up to the editorial, up to the editorial. Oh, here comes the editorial now. All right, all right. Okay, 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 okay. But why you not moving, man? Stop behaving that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now, it is doubtful that this battle will take place in the High Court of Grenada, as the compensation package will be peanuts in terms of what the family members are seeking to obtain for the debts. All right? So they want to make sure that they get the biggest lump sum of money possible. The most likely venue will be a court in New York, where the kind of compensation packages run into many millions. The last time Grenada was subject to a ruling in a New York court was under the Keith Mitchell-led New National Party NNP government, when it was sued successfully by Taiwan to repay millions in loans in the fallout due to the severing of ties with Taipei for a more lucrative deal with mainland China. Grenada had to settle an amicable arrangement to repay the millions to the Taiwanese in installments over a period of time. The current Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, is an attorney at law by profession. Okay, yes, so we know that. And is well placed to understand all of the legal options available to the family members and their lawyers in light of the deaths of the two Americans through human error on the part of the Royal Grenada Police Force. It is now public record that the Prime Minister has made the findings of the Ryan Hall investigation into what transpired at the South St. George Police Station, known to Grenadians and the entire world that some police officers are to be blamed for providing opportunity for the three Paradise prisoners to escape and commit murder against the two American citizens. The authorities are on the right track in carrying out further investigation into the leadership of the Central Division and also that particular police station. The truth of the matter is that the party colors of green versus yellow has taken deep root inside the police force in the past 30 years, especially under the NNP maximum leader, and no amount of whitewashing by the powers that be can alter the reality of the situation. Those in the current police high command are fully aware that some senior officers have openly stated that they are not prepared to work hard under the NDC administration of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. There are also some senior officers within RGPF who are upset. What are they upset about? Who are upset? Where is the top of that article? Yes, they are upset with being transferred from certain prestigious positions that were given to them under the NNP government following regime change on June 23rd, 2022. The current acting commissioner of police, Don McKenzie, and even those who will succeed him in the next few years will not have an easy task in managing the RGPF due to the politicization of the force along the lines of tribal party politics in the country. The last regime was able to install many of the top sensitive positions in the police force and also at other levels within key state institutions. And most of these people are committed to their party and not the country. The New Today would also like to make some passing comments on what is known as the scanner issue at the St. George's Port. The information in our possession, the information in our press conference this week that he has no knowledge about the existence of this scanner. However, a high-ranking member of the Grenada Ports Authority indicated that his organization had bought a scanner for customs and that its application and use is a matter for them at the Customs Department. There can be no doubt that the scanner does exist and an attempt is being made to lay the blame on the Customs Department for not taking the necessary steps to ensure that the machine is up and running. The current government is talking about installing scanners at the major point of entry, but the scanner is already on the island and lying idle or on the St. George's Port. It really begs the question, is someone hiding information from the Prime Minister of the country to the point that he will come out in public and admit that he is not aware of the existence of this vital piece of equipment in the fight against illegal arms and ammunition? It appears that in this little island of ours, the right hand is not aware of what the left hand is clearly doing. Okay, so essentially, our country is going to be faced with $1 million lawsuit as a consequence of this outrageous and callous and senseless act that took place, where 3 young men, none of them yet 35, I think the eldest one is 30, and they ran away, they escaped, according to the official report. They had not been placed in the cell where they could be locked away. They were in an open area outside of the cell that have some burglar bars, and they were able to move the bars, escape, hijack the yacht, and the bodies have been disposed of somehow. There is no evidence of what has become of the bodies up to now. So they have to be presumed dead, according to the report. They have confessed to the police of having bound the people and thrown them over. And this is what the situation is right now. So Grenada is going to be faced with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Yeah? Brother John, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just reading a piece of intellectual garbage written by Denison George.
Denison George.
Yeah, he's the singer, lawyer from New York who did do some philanthropical work, philanthropical work in Grenada. He grew up in a Gary household, and he seems to be making a wrong now on social media, and you get Dennis and Hudson George arose.
Matters relating to the revolution again?
Yes, and can I read for you? Because
Okay.
I was listening to you in and out. I came in last night in my car and I parked it up. Just wanted to go and it wouldn't start. So I thought, you need gas. You don't have enough gas in it. I tried to start it and it wouldn't start. So she bought some gas. I put it in. I get somebody to give us a boost. He just not starting. So he just said, I don't know what's going on. However, I was listening to you in and out momentarily with the Haiti situation. And one of the things I didn't hear mentioned, because I've been in and out, the brother named Bill Clinton, in not too distant future, in the distant past, he apologized for killing the Haitian rice industry.
Yeah, I dealt with that first.
Yes, I didn't hear that. So these people, they are inhumane people, barbaric in nature, just with a different outfit, and they have the mass media at their fingertip that they use to propagate the lies and stuff. And media is a really good way of getting to the minds of people, repeating your side of the story and killing the other side of the story. And anyone who dare to raise up their head to attack or respond to defend themselves, they call them crazy, lunatic, dictators, and so on. They are the one who dictate to the whole world what's going on, how they should walk, how they should talk, what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat, what medicine they should take, what medicine they shouldn't take. They are the ones doing it. They're the one who killing people in silence. Yes, through the agencies that they have, the economic hitman. Our brand is Crisis. It's a group of American and insurrectionists, who go through the world and create confusion in politics in different countries to their own good. So I understand the game, and I know you understand it, and a lot of us understand it. And some of our colleagues who live in the great, like myself, who live here, experiencing and seeing the thing. Some of us dare not speak out, some of us speak out, some of us get into situation like my good friend Cecil Peters. If you don't play the game, if you just go ahead, go to work, get paid and buy a house, pay them for 30 years or 20 years. If you fail to do it, they take back your house, take back your car, you end up on the street with nothing. Okay? Just be engaged in economic and occupational slavery, and you're good. Yes? Eat, sleep, bathe, go to work, and that's it. And you live a nice life. Yeah? So those of us who hear and demonizing our comrades of past who was trying to help show us the way, yeah, try to let us know that the imperialist world is not the friendliest of organizations, and the United Nations is no better, and the WHO is no different. They all come from the same household by the same masters, dispensing all the evil venom in the world. And the sad reality of all of that is that our people will gravitate to them when they tell us our own leaders are wicked. Yes? Our own leaders are no good. When our same leaders trying to do the best for us, they will sabotage them or even kill them. So the benefits and the services that they so desire never come to them. And then end up in poverty, impoverished, and begging with a hat in hand to the rest of the world. Installing one of us again who is puppeteering to them. Puppet masters pulling the string, and these people follow suit. But once you decide to stand up for your rights, for your people, you become victim or a moving target just waiting to be killed. Having said all of that, we as a people have to galvanize and protect our leaders, and must ensure that the leaders that we put in power don't fall victim to the shifting and the waving and the moving of the imperial power, how they want them to move and to remain in poverty. Because the whole objective, like one CIA agent said, we cannot afford for Grenada, Cuba, and Nicaragua to be able to give free education, free healthcare, free this and free university, everything. We can't afford that. That would be the envy of the United States, and that could have serious problem for them in the United States. So any country in the world around them, especially in the Caribbean around, doing that, Central America, they will get rid of the leaders of the system altogether, because it does not reflect good on them. How come Cuba, right under our nose, could provide free healthcare, free education to his people, and we, who should be the quote-unquote, the model, the example of democracy, can't provide that. We can't allow that to happen.
They're deliberately not doing it
Yeah,
because how the
it's
system
control.
is. Capitalism is not about taking care of the people. It's
No,
about ensuring that profits for the wealthy.
yeah. I think Martin Luther King said it best.
Mm.
America is demonstrating capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich.
Socialism for the rich, yeah. Mm.
And so having I was supposed to go to my bank, but I realized I won't even make it because it's an hour past the bank time, and apart from the other delays I had outside there. So let me just rush on to, I don't know if you're busy. I'm not in a hurry right now. I have to do other things, but that could be done and then take a sleep later on. However, I won't be doing no show tonight, so I'll take my rest early.
Okay.
Denison Forrester George, Mr. Prime Minister of Grenada. This period is when the breakdown in Grenada criminal justice system started. The day Grenada
Huh?
did not,
Wait. Brother John, read that part again, let me hear.
Mr. Prime Minister of Grenada,
Uh-huh.
this period is when the breakdown in Grenada's criminal justice system started. And he can't open in here.
Are
The
you
day,
kidding me?
huh?
Are you kidding me? I
Well, hold
mean,
on. Let me read it
people
for you.
brave to
Eh,
write something like
Hold
that.
on. The
I mean,
day, hold
just
on.
that statement alone, Brother John,
Yeah. So I won't take him seriously because I
you had
understand.
you had to be a lunatic.
Yes. So hold on. The
Yeah, go
day
ahead.
the day Grenada did not hang evil bastard Bernard Code, which is spelled wrong for a lawyer, spelled Grenada wrong and a big open piece of that alone tells you your mental capacity, was the day law and order became a joke in Grenada. Now, this Belfort is a legal system, and the laughable thing about it is that the same proprietaries, masters who set up a kangaroo court to try those men and them fail. Yeah? And the joke is on them, not on us, because they fail to have proper representation on the side of the defense. And the prosecution case was very weak, and the main witness, Cletus St. Paul, lied on the stand. And his testimony is what eventually convicted those guys. And based on other, right now, then and now, evidence proved that he was nowhere close to any hearing of any order given by Bernard Code. Okay, which was a lie. Okay, I heard the Prime Minister of Grenada said yesterday, we have to go back and look at the cases of Grenada descent into violent criminality. I heard the Prime Minister of Grenada said yesterday, we have to go back and look at the causes of Grenada's descent into violent criminality. Mr. Prime Minister, when you have a mass murderer, the biggest mass murderer in the Caribbean, living in society, enjoying life and liberty while his countless victim bodies are not yet discovered. A mass murderer who has committed genocide against his own people being glorified as a genius, a Rhodes Scholar, an important figure with some including a minister of government, even calling for him to be awarded, some even saying he should have been recognized during our independence celebration. The same mass murderer who is responsible for murdering hundreds of his fellow Canadians. I want to see, they can't prove 100 people get murdered on the foot, so I don't know where they get hundreds of people murdered on the foot. All right. So Grenada is so small. I don't know how many people miss 100 person from their family in the neighborhood. Grenadian men, women, and children, including former Prime Minister Maurice Bishop, Norris Bain, and countless others, burying some of his remains alive in unmarked mass graves. The day Grenada decided not to hang or put this mass murderer to death or imprison him for life in chain at Richmond Hill Prison Hotel for his evil crimes, his genocide against his own people, that was the beginning of the end of fairness and judicial pillars that Grenadian judicial system were resurrected upon. That was also the first day law and order, justice, crime, and punishment were abolished, and Grenada's judicial system was seen as a joke in the rest of the civilized world. In any other country in the Middle East, let me remind Mr. Denison that in the Middle East the laws are different, and the laws that killed Saddam is still not, wasn't their law, was American decided how to kill Saddam. Let me remind him of that. Asia, Europe, Africa, his fate would have been sealed, like Saddam Hussein, Hermann Goring, Jacqueline von Ribbentrop, and even Emmanuel Leclerc, whose fate was sealed and Central Force during the failed Santiago expedition. Today, what do you expect the rest of society? Stop blaming the youths. They learn from the elders. Let me tell Mr. Dennison that some of the people who are committing crime was even born yet when the revolution took place. Someone wasn't born when October 1983 took place.
So,
And let me remind him, let me inform him that Grenada have solved most of the crime. That 95% of the crime committed in Grenada is solved. Lawlessness has nothing to do with what happened in the past, but how we raise our children today. Our children,
Brother John,
lawlessness.
where is this information being shared?
I just put it on Facebook here. I just have
Okay.
to just go into Louis Noel Ambrose shared with me. Um, and I decided to open it, and I realized Denison George is the architect of that piece on Facebook. Well, you know, I know Denison George. I know his family background. They from a Gary household. So again, I would not expect anything better or different coming from that. And I see Mr. And some other guy responded. I think his family had owned some businesses in the town of St. George's, the Johnsons family.
Okay.
You know the Johnsons?
Yeah, I know the Johnsons.
Right. His family had owned business in St. George's.
Yeah. Right there on Hillsborough Street.
Yeah. So he made a statement and he said, well, first Hudson replied to Dennis and George. He said the Prime Minister need to hold some town hall meeting with Grenadians in order for him to understand that if the revolution was still the government, he would not have the opportunity and privilege to be the present leader of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. I don't know how that fits in with the question, guy.
Yeah, but you know Hudson is known for just inserting things that don't have anything to do with the subject matter, right?
Yes. So let me proceed. So the brother, the Johnson guy said, before him, before into Bonacode probably, it was Gary who did a lot of bad things and he got away with it. That's where it started. Now, I don't think that go down well with Mr. Denison George because he has a big picture of Gary on his thing and his family is a Garyite. I know that.
Well, who made this statement about Gary doing bad things?
Alfred Johnson. He said before
Oh,
him, before into Bonner Code, okay,
Alfred or Albert?
Alfred.
Okay, that's the other brother. Okay.
Yeah. Before him, it was Gary. He did a lot of bad things and got away with it. That's where it started. Now he's the father of independence. Now, Dennis Charles, Alfred, you don't make sense. Dennis Charles don't like the fact that Dennis Charles, I cannot believe what I just read. Let me investigate. So what I'm investigating is probably Dennison's ranting. Okay, that's the only thing I could assume that he's addressing here because Mr. Johnson haven't said anything that warrants investigation here. The fact is the fact. Remember Bloody Monday? Remember the Mongoose Gang? Remember the Green Beast? This guy was not giving out candies to school children, to school kids, and to run to their life, to run for their life. You did not have freedom of speech when the people used to demonstrate or gather. He would send the police out and the Mongoose Gang and the secret police. I remember those days like it was yesterday. Remember yesterday? Where were you? I was in town that day, so I saw everything. I think Alfred is addressing the Gary's brutality, living in tongue, seeing all this stuff. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's the past. We have to move on. Have a blessed day, brother. I hope I did not get anyone upset. Happy March 13th. And some Fletcher guy with Fletcher with nutmeg said, Alfred Johnson, I also leave it. My entire family had to leave Grenada. My village is now known as a ghost town. Hudson George, who was the leader of the revolution? I don't understand what you are trying to say. How you don't understand what you're trying to say? You're talking about Gary Hudson George. What is your saying yesterday? Is that somebody was saying that going on now in because Bishop and them it started with Bernard. So I said it started with Gary. What do you not understand? I don't know. Like these guys, I'm not picking no sides. I was just saying how I feel from what I saw Gary did. Good things, Bishop did good things too. And also did good and bad. Remember, Gary and Bishop was very good. I think it's very good friends in Aruba. When they came back to Grenada, that is when everything started. Anyway, I know, I do. Anyway, have a good day. Hudson J. Alfred Johnson, you are talking about Bishop, parent of, yeah, our Bishop. So, Mr. Dennison wrote up this stuff. And again, that's another misinformed brother who have an opinion and not facts, right? About Bernard and the whole thing that went down. And for someone who is a lawyer, would have probably take some time off to investigate properly what went down and how things unfolded, would have made a better write up a better posting than that. That is like a regurgitated, tasteless piece of intellectual garbage. Yes?
But Brother John,
Mm.
Gary and who the person say were good friends in Aruba?
The bishop father, I guess.
Gary
Yeah.
and Bishop father?
Yeah, I guess the
Okay,
father you're referring to the family, the bishop family. Because
okay.
all of them wasn't working in the oil field together in Aruba, right? So
Mm-mm.
you're alluding to the fact that they was all friends in Aruba is when they come to Grenada thing change. You remember that? So
Well, they were on different sides of the political divide.
yeah,
I
when they
mean,
came back to Grenada, yeah. And
so
that's so no, the point is just trying to make the point that they was friends. So the point that Dennis is trying to make to demonize one side and not thing
but
Gary.
I don't have to hate you or you don't have to be my
No
enemy for me to have a
opinion.
different opinion, a
Yeah,
different political stance to you.
yeah. So I think what dancing I think I know somebody trying to make I don't know if he was referring to Maurice or Bernard because he make a mention here that someone um want to make him a hero or something. So he did decide not to hang. The mass murderer government calling for him.
But
Okay, so he said a mass murderer who has committed genocide against his own people, being glorified as a genius.
genocide, what do you call it? Genocide.
The foot, what happened on the foot? The guy is intellectually bankrupt, trust me. Um, Glorified as a genius, a Rhodes Scholar, an important figure with some, including a minister of government, even calling for him to be awarded. Some even saying he should have been recognized during our independence celebration. Now, Denison don't understand the work that Bonner did for the independence alongside Gary. He has no clue about that. They think Gary just go there by himself and get a thing and come back. Okay? It's a team of people who spearheaded and led by Gary. And as we know from our conversation with Bernard, that there were certain things that Gary wanted to put in the constitution, and he was visited by Nicodemus by night. Remember that part? Giving
Mhm.
certain information that the brother gave from Gary camp, gave Bonner the information to have it to Gary wouldn't be able to put that in law in the constitution, right? So when they're talking about that, you see people the propaganda against Bonner is so entrenched, that people don't fact checking nothing. All right. So whoever the minister is calling for Bonner to be recognized for his work and stuff like that, and in the 50th anniversary, he was instrumental in getting independence as well. So to those people who does not know, right, and going on with it still, I can't change their minds. I have to keep saying what I know from my vantage point, with facts. They could say what they want based on assumption and opinion of other people. Opinion is not facts. Yeah. So they could go ahead with that with all the investigation and come up and say Bonner was this and Bonner that and Bonner criminal and that. They could go ahead. They don't understand what went on. So I pity them, So Mr. Denison, wherever you are listening to this, I know you might be listening because my friend Louise is your friend that sent me the piece. So I hope she immediately, if I have a link, you can listen to this. And may I remind you that I know your family, they're all great supporters, including you. So I know and I saw, and let me remind you that Jeremiah Richardson was my cousin, shot by a Gary police. Harry Andrew is my brother's brother-in-law, shot by a police. So I am not prepared to sit here and pretend that Gary was all like ice cream and cake. Yeah, it was not. A lot of people get beaten up by Belma and other secret police in Paradise in Grenville, 1974. Never forget that. So don't let us not act like criminality started here. And if we got to go back, and we was talking Pablo earlier on in the same show here, they take arms and legs as trophies, heads.
Mhm.
So criminality didn't start in 1983. The very nature of the establishment of a government and council in Grenada, it wasn't a piece of paper signed. A lot of people died, and the revolution was never around. Okay, so the falsifiers of history could continue to make up their stories and say, well, we feel it started there. As a matter of fact, during the period of time, crime was at its lowest. Yes, was at its lowest, and even in this dispensation, under this government, yes, they might have some crimes happening and more things now we hate, but most of the crimes is now 95% of crimes in Grenada itself. And we hate last time our data collected on crimes in Grenada. Grenada itself 95% of its crime. So no crime goes unpunished or unaddressed. I mean, to have 95% of a crime being solved in any country, it's a big credit to the government.
Brother John, I mean, please, this is not even worth it, really. Serious, this is not even worth it. I'm telling you. I don't find that is even worth it.
You know what?
Mm.
I
No,
mean,
you're worth it, man.
but you know what interesting about that?
Mm.
It attract people like Dennis and Hudson to it.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, Dennis and Hudson, he tried to pull to create a debate with me there based on a post that a response that I put to a post there, but I didn't take debate, you know. I didn't take debate because he didn't respond to me directly, but he just come and he throw something in there. And I just watch it, I read it, and I don't say nothing. I
Um,
just yeah, just leave it alone.
Angus Farray, who is a family member, I think, associated with the Belmas, he extracted from the comment, the day Grenada did not hang this evil bastard, Bernard Code, was the day law and order became a joke in Grenada. My brother, I couldn't agree with you more. Any
Mm,
judiciary reform, and Grenada is badly in need of such a reform, must have this as its mirror. They forget that the Privy Council has also overseen the case. Um, Denison George, Hudson George, can someone love Maurice Bishop and love Bernard Code at the same time? Is it possible to do? Oh, why not? You can. And Hudson George replied, as for the word love for both political characters, in terms of who is central committee members and political favorite is, I will say no. Gary Alexander Denison Forrester, not meaning to prolong this too long, but I don't, Albert, I don't, Albert, there are some people who love and respect both. Yes, that's right. Angus Furry, Angus Furry is an angry person. I know about this whole Chris thing. I could be forced. I could be further discussed, but it's not a separate topic. It is you who mentioned the person who sold our airplane, are the real criminals. To which I answered, were Code and his code. Who sold the plane? You understand? I remember the same topic that the plane, and Bono was very upset that the plane was sold because they make back the money for the plane, was making a profit, and they sold the plane, and he was upset about that. Remember that, Pablo?
Who they accusing us of?
Bernard. He said, Farry addressing Gary Alexander. It could be further discussed, but it's not a separate topic. It is you who mentioned the person who sold our airline are the real criminal. To which I answered were Code and his cahoots.
What could have to do with selling plane when the plane?
The plane was sold after the revolution.
When the plane sell, where Code was?
I was in prison. That oh my word. Gary said, I know who this Gary guy. Gary Angus, right? Gary. That is a separate, okay, Gary Alexander. Angus, right? That's a separate topic. Okay, he said separate topic. I am not excusing Orwell. Again, here's the topic of Orwell. Oh, this banned in 1977. I'm simply asking that we excuse some intellectual discipline. The threat with the crime issue. To treat with the crime issue. I'm also referring that it is poverty, a lack of resources that creates the environment in which crime flourishes. Additionally, that in spite of the monumental blunder of Bernard Code, and his acolytes, that they work tirelessly to help build the economy, thus helping to reduce crime. To reduce crime. We're talking about they build the economy to help reduce crime. I think he was giving some. Angus, Code and his codes are the real criminals. Angus Furry. Hudson Jones, for instance, you must read Teddy Victor book, Deception and Conception. Yeah, I think you should read that to get a better understanding of what's going on there too. The instance, yes, I agree with you on Tubman, but the Harriet Tubman that we were taught about in America, junior and high school, which we both attended, would not have free Bernard Code from prison. She would have labeled him a traitor, an Uncle Tom, and the Harriet Tubman we learn about would have taken her rifle and put a bullet in the middle of Bernard Code's head
Brother John,
for genocide. He
Brother John,
commented against his own people and for destroying the movement.
Brother
Yes, sir.
John,
Yes, sir.
I don't know. This thing is I mean, it's just you're listening to these people there and you're wondering, you know, what senses, where these people's senses have really gone,
Mm.
you
You
know?
know, hold on. Then he's saying that 11th grader, he said, then some responding to Gary. Then some
Mm.
voice George, right? Gary, my brother, I left Grenada as a child and was not young to involve politically. He was about my age. I know dancing. So, child, he went to school in SAS. He went to high school in SAS. Okay? But based on my family alliances, uh, allegiances to Uncle Gary, see, I didn't read that part. I tell you, he was the whole Gary, right? GOP and Garyism. I am and I will always be a Garyite. Garyism runs in my blood. And maybe, yes, I am somewhat biased towards criticizing Uncle Gary, but I can be honest and say that God bless Uncle Gary. See?
You see, and
Problem.
therein lies the efficiency of our politics, you know. Garyism runs in your blood, you know. What does Garyism have to do with your humanity? You know, yes, Gary would have done certain things and so on. I think that is one of the problems with us and in this political arena
Yeah.
is that we create these little demigods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we make these little demigods of our politicians. And
Yeah.
then it come like they can do no wrong, and we look to justify everything that they do. You know, it was good to hear Michael Baptiste say the
Mm-hmm.
other day. In fact, he was the first that tried to bring in the whole issue of, well, in spite of whatever, um, Gary was not perfect and he had his flaws. And I told him, well, we'll get to the flaws in time. We just, we want, because the whole thing was about the essence of Gary.
Independence.
Yeah, the about essence of Sir Eric and how he would have impacted on the history, the lives, and the development of the country.
Yeah.
And I think this is what was sought, the message that the 50th anniversary independence um, authority
Mm-hmm.
sought to bring to the people that yes, perfection does not exist in the human domain. And consequently, you would find errors among the people who would have led us. Okay. But ultimately, they would have had some kind of agenda for development, and especially Gary and Morris. That's why when Hudson asked me the question, he made the statement, that he don't see why Morris' face has to be on the commemorative $50 bill
Mm-hmm.
next to Sir Eric. And I said to him, it's because these are the two leaders that would have impacted in the most significant way on the lives, the history, and the development of Grenada in the last 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have a response for that. He just jumped to something else, as he usually
When
does.
you don't have a defense.
Yes, he just jumped to something else and he started talk some kind of communist, this,
Yeah.
that, and he just went away there. So, so you have that situation, and so people have to be able to put things in context, because somebody did message me privately after the independence celebration saying that you all give Gary a free pass about he was a dictator and he was a whatever. I lived through Gary period. Yes, we know what happened. And as I mentioned about Michael Baptiste. Michael Baptiste did that. When I asked him eventually
Hmm.
what he considered to have been some of Uncle's shortcomings and so, because I mean, Gary was a visionary. You cannot take that away from
No,
him.
you can't. You know, Pablo, I don't interrupt you, eh?
Yeah,
And I've
go-
said it before, yeah, that under Gary had a vision for the airport. As a matter of fact, I was learning recently that the land was purchased under Gary for the airport already too. Yes,
yeah, all of
and
these things were in place. That's why when the PRG came into office, they were just able to
to
boom,
work,
get into, and put the things,
yeah.
put
So
the things in place.
and the MNIB that we glorify for the PRG is already started by Gary. They just make it better and more
Mhm.
efficient. Yes, efficiency was needed. They didn't scratch Gary programming. They
No,
continued it.
they built
and
on it.
and they didn't give the PRG the credit for that. People didn't give them
Mm,
credit for it for continuing Gary work. As a
no,
matter of fact, the very intro NIS that we glorified on PRG project, which he turned out to be a PRG project, 'cause Gary refused to take it on because he said his rationale was he had a high unemployment rate and he can't take more taxes out of people who are working already,
yeah.
right? Oh, up came the ocean, the airport started, you had an army, you had youth working out there, you have farmers working out there, everybody, you have more people working. So now you could put the insurance in place. So the guy came back and the PRG Bernard set up a team and they work it. Yes? So it wasn't a PRG idea. It came in, the parliament have done it, but it came to Gary first. The schools that we enjoy today, a lot of the schools in Grenada, the Waltham Secondary School, the Grenville Secondary School, the Boca Secondary School, the Happy Secondary School. That was Gary. Okay, that's a non-Catholic, non-religious schools. Was Gary, right? The housing schemes. You tell me Gary didn't prepare in housing so many people. Telescope, River Road, Grandlands Valley, the Limes. Yes, St. David, Gary. The PRG continued them. Okay? It didn't stop them. They continued building on them. Agro industry was a big thing on Gary Mine. He doesn't have the help. You understand? And Bernard being the visionary who he was, understood that. And because of his close association with Gary and everybody else, working with them, he didn't scratch it because in Parliament, those things were like, see, past people wasn't paying attention to parliamentary democracy in Gary time still, eh? Because it was in full effect. Yes?
Yeah, but
So then,
you have to realize too that the level that people were at, because when you consider that we had just been
coming out
through
of,
adult suffrage
yeah.
in 1951 and so, and that the vast majority of people who would have received voting rights that time, many of them were illiterate.
Yeah. I mean, and a vast majority of people in Northeast St. Andrews was Gary
Yeah.
School working on the farm and in poverty, right?
So
So they gravitated to Gary.
by the time you get to the 70s,
Mm.
right, where you have people, some of the young people um, who would have been children back then in the early 50s and so, coming of voting age and stuff like that, you know, it was, they were not really in tune with the whole issue of parliament and so.
Mm.
People were just looking to transform their lives and to begin to lay foundation for their families and so on. That was the focus. And that is why up to today, really, the whole
Mm.
issue of parliament and so is not something, and knowing your constitution and all of that is not something that is paramount to our people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We are not in tune with the governance of the country. And that's why the former Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, had been able to, yes, he too continued projects that had been established by the previous administration, the Western Main Road project. We know that the river project in St. Mark is just that they took claim for it, you know. The one
Mm-hmm.
that continued was the hospital, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead of that because of the source of the lands. He had to make a claim that, oh, they went and bought the land because they know this thing was happening, but these people had been in possession of the land since before the administration had come into office. They didn't know that they were going to get into office and this thing was going to be going down, you know. So you had that situation. But generally speaking, Government is a continuance. And whoever it is that comes in, they have to deal with the fallout, the whatever that the previous administration put in place, just like how this administration now has to be dealing with the fallout from the police, the dilapidated buildings, the lack of institutional framework. When they came into office, there was no office in place for parliamentary representatives to function from. It took weeks before they were able to set up offices in the constituencies and so on, because previously the previous administration had operated in a manner whereby the offices were used more or less simultaneously. It was party offices paid for by government and still pass as the parliamentary representative office. And what they had done, they had given the supervision and the control of these offices. They had privatized it. So somebody had a contract for the of these offices and so on. But according to the Prime Minister, when he was speaking at the budget debate, he said that the gentleman, he was informed by people within the ministry that is the situation that existed. But the gentleman singularly terminated the contract, that he had with government. So they didn't have to, there was no claim, there was no nothing. He just put an end to the whole thing because they know it was a sham, No, it was a sham. And that is the way that Dr. Mitchell ran government.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is the situation that we face right now.
But crime in every society traces back to a level of impoverishment. Yes? The higher the unemployment rate in any society, the higher the crime. However, it's my belief still, if a society is raised correctly from the home out, our crime rate will be very low. Why I think that way? I live in a community right here, and I watch children raised and I watch children being reared. Yes? I see some young men that came from homes where mother and father is in the home, or even single parents in the home. As a matter of fact, I have a friend, she raised her son by herself. Today he's a police officer. There's another woman that raised a child by herself and he's a criminal. It's a method of operation. How you value place and those two, and the two are the same age. Two different.
Yeah, well,
Watch this.
Yeah,
Genesis and a young guy, born the same time, same month. Yes? It wasn't 3 years. We visited each other's family, each other's friend. And they was asked, so what Genesis doing? I don't know. And the reply was, Genesis knew her alphabets, she knew her address, she knew her phone numbers, she have this, she could read that, and she could read the Bible, she could read that. The other say, so did they ask, so what is this son doing? Oh, he caused now who's a bad word, and that, and the other. 2 children, born on the same time, 2 different parents. When you check the background and the house where they come from, that's what they do every day in the house. They cuss and they carry with one another. Like we did have a song, Tomorrow's Children. Mommy cussing, daddy cussing mommy in front of daddy, coming home drunk on this other day. He still want his son to be here for him. You understand?
Well, actually, the Prime Minister in the press conference recently, he spoke to that. He did say that he spoke about the, young people. Yes, you come to school and the teacher and whoever, they try to instill certain discipline and whatever in you. But you have to go back to this household where what you experience is that it is okay to behave in a certain way and to do certain things and so on. You are treated in a particular way that causes you to feel, well, that is the norm and that is the way that things are supposed to be done. And as a consequence, it breeds a certain kind of personality. It's not the best for building a society. And so you have that kind of that kind of delinquency that comes out in certain people. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame society for all the crime that committed. I go back to the household. I said I grew up in paradise as well,
Mm,
mother and father, and there is some of my male friends.
mm,
Yes, they grew up with their grandmother. The mother left and go in the States, and the father is not in the house. Yeah,
mm,
she didn't care too much. She just there receiving the money from New York to get to buy food and things like that. But the children, some of them eventually leave and go to the States and live good lives. But the one of them who was just not behaving himself. You understand?
mm,
I go to school with a lot of kids and they behave badly and they come out from home where daddy didn't care. You understand? I remember one day I come from school and an association get me a lot of licks when I get home. Right? Because
okay.
they was singing a song, I joined the song not knowing why they sing this song. Like a poetry, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, I yes, a 3 bags full. Not knowing the 3 girls that's come down with Baba children, named Mr. Baba, they all black, dark black, midnight black girls, pretty girls. Yes? But not my age group kind of girl, but it's older girls. They don't know in high school already. They went and they tell my father join these guys teasing them. My father immediately asked me if I was with these guys, and I say yes. And there goes the blows. I learned not to associate them again. You understand? So, what's my point? Children will take advantage of misguided parents. Parents who have no rules in place, no structure. If you look in your community, you see parents who have structure and parents who don't have structure. They feel that any child could be, they big, could do what they want. Jane is 21 years old and she don't dare leave here without my permission. Yes? And she have to call when she get there and call when she leaving. That's the facts. Now, do I have on a chain and a leash? No. I just set rules in place. I was telling somebody, God don't kill everybody. Somebody just violate the rules. Because if you know you're going to end up a building and jump down, you violate the law of gravity, you go dead. God not to kill you. Because you violate the law, you're dead. There's laws in place. If you don't have laws in place, people do what they want. There's a time in Israel, there was no king, no judge. Everybody's doing what they please. You know? So our society cannot, people can decide, wait for your teacher to teach you. Manners. You got to read for yourself from home with your children. You can't wait for me, the teacher. I come to teach maths. I don't come to teach character building and that's not my job. My job is to teach you maths. I don't see it as my extended duty to teach your son beyond my English class. I have 45 minutes with him in the classroom is to teach him English. If I feel the need to pull little Johnny and say, Johnny, your character, your behavior is not the right behavior. Like Mr. Ripia did with me one time in school. I was putting a dreadlock one morning, I go to school, I didn't comb my hair out. I had a regular and black time and my hair just come Coach O'Neill wash, Coco Pong and wash and clean the river Saturday. And I leave it Saturday, Sunday. My long afro, shake it out and I go to the class, I take off the hat off my head, shake my head. Mr. Ripia, EOS Ripia called me in a corner and he tell me this, not me. You say your parents would never appreciate that. I know they didn't see you leaving home this morning like that. So I want you to correct that. You understand? So not all teachers will take the responsibility of raising your children for you. So if you're not prepared to raise your child for yourself, don't expect the school to do it for you. This child spent 8.5 hours in the school, or 8 hours. The 2 hours you have with them morning and evening, 1 hour each, you have to make that count for 8 hours. The only thing our children are exposed to in school, we have to properly cover them and educate them before they get brainwashed or indoctrinated in the world outside of the house. Our homes is the first school, first hospital, the first courtroom, the first police station. Yes? The first institution of correction is in your home. And if you fail to correct them in your house, we don't expect the church and the school system to do it for you. And if you adhere to the laws of the nation, yes, as a parent, tell don't discipline your child. They're preparing you to prepare your child to be lawless and to be in prison for their benefit. That's happening in North America.
Right.
So we cannot blame the government of the past for your children misbehavior. You had a moral, spiritual, and social responsibility to raise your child for yourself. Don't depend on government to raise your child for you. All you doing is to pass laws for your child misbehavior. Yeah? Yeah, you take care of your children home. Not when they're 12 and 15, when they're 2, 1 and 2, start training them up from there. So the society will be an easier place to live. When they see Pablo in the morning and the evening, they'll call Mr. Paul, good evening. Mr. Paul, good morning. How are you today, Mr. Paul? Instead of you having to cuss Mr. Paul, say, but put up your pants. Who do you talking to you, my father?
Yeah,
You know?
well, the dispensation that we live in presently is different to what it was then.
Yeah.
Uh, the way that things operated, the way that things function, you had a more holistic approach towards growing up children. So, the role that an elder could have played, just being an elder in the community, in the life of a child, that is a no-no in this dispensation. So, the whole value system has changed. The kind of
Yes.
stuff that comes through our media and so couldn't come through our media back then. The kind of songs that's played on our radio and so, yes, they beat out
Yes.
certain words and so this couldn't play on radio, on mainstream radio. Yes, you can play it, you might play in a dance and so on and so forth, but in terms of through a public entity, an official public medium, and so that was a no-no back in those days. So
You
as
couldn't have done certain things,
yeah,
and
as
I
long
think,
as you don't as long as you don't have certain regulations and
yeah.
so in, and that is what society is about. Society is about recognizing that we have to function together. And
Mm,
the fact that we have to function together, we must find some kind of common ground
yeah.
in terms of the rules of the game, And when we do not have appropriate rules,
Mhm.
right, as to how that game is supposed to be played,
Right.
that's the situation.
Something just came to mind, Pablo. You had a coalition of teachers on a show one time in the comfort zone.
Mm,
Yeah?
yeah.
I wonder if we could pull two of those teachers here and two from Canada, or the same lady psychologist, and probably you'll find one in Grenada. And let us try to see how we can um, have a discussion surrounding the rearing of children from home to the school system and society. You think that is feasible for us to pull together? I think we could do it.
Yeah, I see no reason why not.
'Cause I think sometimes we need to address those stuff,
Mm,
and have a discussion on this stuff because sometimes our society depend on media for information, and that's where the most people get the information from. I did a men's conference last November, and I asked the men, right, and the women, where did they first hear about sex from? And none of them mentioned their parents.
no, 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 no. You didn't get back in them time. You don't get that from.
Yes, no,
No,
that's what I'm
no, no.
saying.
No,
So
you don't. You
what
don't.
what I'm saying today
Okay.
says this, and I asked the same men and women who believe that, okay, a woman must submit to her husband, a husband must submit to the wife, and the reason why a woman should submit because she see the Christ like in him, right? So I ask the question: can you see Christ in your husband? The wife of their husband, their wife can answer, She not seeing the Christ-like behavior in her husband. Nobody expected that question. And likewise, so we have people living and using the word submit, 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 but they never understood why and how submission works.
And these are quote unquote Christian folks.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
all praise me for it. Say, Brother John, I never look at it that way. But it's right in the Bible. It's right there, right? So lacking of study to showing themselves approved and understanding what they're reading is a different thing. Comprehension is a thing that needed to do after reading. So I could read it without comprehension. Everybody say read and seek understanding. It's important. You want you to get understanding about everything you're reading. He said get understanding. Get to understand what you read. So you could dispense it. You could apply the wisdom. If I don't know about a thing, I cannot apply wisdom by doing what I read. So the whole thing is that when a man, or people say a woman must submit to a man, they don't read the whole statement. It reads as unto her husband, as unto Christ. Now, if it does like as unto Christ, you worshiping Christ, and Christ is your biggest person worship, and your husband should be like that. Are you seeing your husband like how you see Christ? So you could reverence him. You could submit to him as that. But if you can't see him as that, why are you submitting to him? And so, but the whole idea, up before that verse, he says, wife, submit yourself unto your own husband. Husband, submit unto your own wife. Right? And then he come down and say, wife, submit to your own husband. He give a special figure, as unto Christ. So before you submit to each other, being respectful and offering yourself to each other, and the above verses, when you come down now to the woman, submit your husband as unto Christ. Same way you go humble yourself before Christ, you give yourself your husband that same reverence that you're giving Christ. The question is, can you see Christ in your husband to reverence him as Christ? And that was a fail. A big fail. So we have to train up our children, Pablo. We have to find a medium, we have to find ways to cultivate the right mindset before 10. If we lose them at 10, we lose them for the rest of their life.
Yeah, as I say, values is critical.
Very.
And without the appropriate values, and if you do not have if you do not establish the rules of the game, and things are just left to chance, so the way people can just do things in any old way, then that's what you end up with. You end up with a chaotic kind of society.
You know something, Pablo? People will say single parent, right? Children will be, and they have statistics to prove that children who raised in single parent who end up in more crimes, yeah, than parents who have two parents in the house. I yet to believe that, because I have, like I said, I could judge from a lot of girlfriends I have here, friends who are single parents, right, and the children get to go to college and universities. Single parent. And there are those who have two household family, and they
but these are the I get what you're saying, but when you do this, when you do the
big study.
Yes, you would see that the vast majority of people who end up in these situations, come from single parent home.
Yeah.
So they are these exceptions.
Yes.
But they are the exception rather than the rule.
Than the rule. Yeah. So,
it's just like the system will point to like in the US and so on, they will point to those persons who have become millionaires and black people who have become millionaires, and so they will, the system works.
Yeah.
But essentially, the way the system is structured, the vast majority of people don't get to become millionaires. You cannot. So it is not a fair analysis.
Right.
It is an analogy to draw to say, well, the system works because you have a handful of people.
Yeah, that do it. You're right. You're right. There was this guy. The guy who wrote "Think and Grow Rich." He's a black guy, right? And he made a point. He made a point the other listening. He said the Chinese read it, the European read it, everybody except in black people reading it, and I wonder why they're still in poverty.
As you mentioned that, I just went online. I see I received a friend from Les Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a good thing. So you communicate with him on a regular basis. He's a my friend list already.
I see I receive a friend request from Les Brown.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, man. So that's it. That's the kind of thing, you know. I think we have to start doing things that would help to educate our children. We had a in our community church before the church break up. We had a after school program where children come in and get help with their homework and stuff like that. And you know, I tell you something. Leadership is key in everything. Yeah? Leadership without vision is a blind person. Yeah. When you're mentally blind, I don't more physical blind, mental blindness, a spiritual blindness, mental blindness. When your mind eyes can see nothing beyond where
Mm.
you've done it is. That's really a serious problem to have. Mental blindness, visionless. You'll perish even though you see in the door to walk into. You've seen the distance, the 100 meters, and you can't see beyond that in your mind. You're in trouble.
I
Some
know.
people might think you're crazy when you start talking about things beyond the red door. You know what could be done behind the red door, and I see in a big space. I could see a big room full of people in it. I could see this doing happening here. I could see that basketball court in the corner. I could see the library over there. I could have this in television room. People say, "Are you serious? It's a red door. There's nothing behind the door. A building inside is empty." Yeah, and you start talking about all the things that is inside the room. And they can't see it. They ain't buy into your vision. So they see you a crazy man. I remember a lady thought I was going crazy one time. And she said publicly, said the brother was going crazy. Everything you talk about this is magazine, what you gonna do? The magazine coming soon. Every conversation she had with me, it was magazine. And one day he came and he gave me a magazine. Say that's the magazine, Genesis magazine. And then he launched the magazine out big, and he come and he say, I have my radio station just now. And she said, this guy again. Yeah. Eventually the radio station come out. And he said, this guy don't give up. He keep dreaming, he keep building, and she encouraging people to support him. Now she's my biggest fan. Yeah. A lady called me one evening, Pablo, on my way to work from work. And I didn't remember the lady. I don't remember who she was. And he said, John, you may not remember me. But remember when you launched the magazine and you said you have a radio station? I'm driving home yesterday. I was listening to you on the radio. I said, oh my God. Look at that man with a vision, he and his wife. And his wife is not here to see it. But she's so happy that I continued. And she could listen to the radio station when her driving home through her phone. And she invited me to speak at a thing she had one time. You see, if you don't give up on your dream, if you have no vision, you're dead. And the point I was trying to make earlier is that the center we had a new pastor who left the church and he came back. He shut it down. And the children scattered. And it's true to say some of them end up in the wrong crowd. And there's no place to go after school anymore. Where they could come in and learn and do their homework and learn music. One of the teachers was a musician at York University. She come there with her computers and set up how to make beats for young men and young women. Don't to make beats on the computers, how to arrange songs. He shut it down. We used to call it what do you call it again? Oh my goodness. The something center. It was a community thing. Children come in and learn skills. The man shut it down. And not very long after that, he ended up in the same predicament again. Just mash up under him again. So when the leaders are lacking vision, we have serious problem. Serious problem. So, my dear Pablo, I hoping to see you next week. And we could do this next week, Saturday, and develop this oneness that we always talk about and build on this. So again, folks, I think Pablo get cut off. Yeah, I think he did. Pablo get cut off. Yeah. Well, this is another, I hope you get reconnected before, another production of Raphael Paul. The Heart of the Matter happens every Saturday at 3 p.m. on GEM FM. Hosted by Raphael Paul. And next week, Saturday, it'll be another interesting Saturday with him and his guests. So I look forward to having him back next Saturday. Also, next Saturday morning would be the Caribbean Connections. And tomorrow evening, we'll be having Ewart Lane Legal Eyes right here on Gem FM. And the lawyer for Vibes Cartel will be at the show, along with Ruggles Ferguson and hopefully Mr. Edwin, lawyer Edwin, will be here to deal with the case. Because Vibes Cartel, for those of you who does not know, he have won his appeal to the Privy Council. But the likelihood of he being freed by his government is not bright. So let's see what happens when it comes to that. Tomorrow, there'll be a full discussion, hour and a half, tomorrow afternoon, from 6 until 7:30. Yeah? Yeah, hour and a half. All right, folks, have a blessed evening. God bless you and make you a blessing. Raphael Paul. I think Raphael Paul gets shut out somewhere along the line. All right, so let us roll this tape and do it right here. I think Raphael Paul get kicked out or something. I don't know. All right, folks. So here we go. Let us get this going out of here. Close the show down.